Hey there, my name is Lizzy, and I'm gonna break down one of the songs that I wrote while here at Jentel. So the song is called Kitchen, as of right now, and it started, I was kind of just noodling around on the guitar on the couch one night in the common area, which is generally a way that I like to play. It's kind of a good way to like stay out of my head when I'm just kind of trying to play and not be super intentional or like hyper focused on something. It's nice to have the background noise of the kitchen and my fellow artists making food, talking about their days. So it started out as a picking pattern. The next day, I went up into the hills and I started writing lyrics. Don't tell me you like everything about me, 'cause then I'll have to be satisfied with where I'm at, and God forbid I'm satisfied with where I'm at. Writing is the way that I process all of my icky, challenging emotions. But as a person day to day, I like to and I try to bring levity to situations, and I like to have fun generally. So in my writing, it'll start as this like, sad, like maybe like deep dark place, whatever. But right off the bat, I'm like, okay, how can I create this melody that feels kind of like floating and pretty and maybe like doesn't distract from the emotion, but adds a little more like, I don't know, nuance to it. And then what I like to do is put down the acoustic guitar and move over to the computer. Let's go. I'm not necessarily making like a finished recorded product in here. A lot of the tracks that I'm writing and creating in here are like using software synths or like software drum machines that are in the program. And I'll edit them and tweak them to try to emulate the sounds that I hear, so that when I go home and record with my collaborator and partner, Mark, we can, there's a reference point, right? There's some place to start from as opposed to me trying to describe it verbally. I like to have like the landscape mapped out, and then bring it home and see what we can make and how we can build on it and expand on it and like expand on the palette. So I took that guitar arpeggiation and I translated it to a little synth part and dropped it down. It had been in A. I brought it down to F sharp and felt like a good place for my voice to sit. So have this little synth arpeggiation. And then the next step for me usually is to create some kind of drum beat, right? I was saying how like I want there to be a contrast between for this song anyway, I want there to be a contrast between the lyrics and like the feeling of the melody, and that, kind of like unresolved feeling arpeggiation. And I want you to be able to kind of dance to it a little bit, so 'cause I like dancing. So I added this little drum beat. Got a little bass synth going in there, right? And as we go through the song, the beat gets added to. Then I added the vocals. And I decided that I wanted to double the vocals. I wanted to feel really big, really expansive. So we have like the melody. Tell me what you like best about me. So I have 2 tracks of myself singing. And then I added a harmony part, also doubled. And I'll throw everything else away. Don't tell me you like everything about me. Right, so trying to grow the idea, expand a little bit. And then I was like, well, let's add some fun fuzzy guitar. And then, you know, I had this first half, first two verses, right? It's building. And then I was like, okay, there needs to be another part, right? It didn't feel finished. Like sometimes a song could be done to me after like a minute and a half. I try not to pay too much attention to time. But like if I do want to write something that is like dancey and consumable in a particular environment, I do try to keep it under a certain amount of time. But like some songs want to be short, some songs want to be long. I was talking to one of the other artists here about when like thinking about a painting and the size of it, whether it wants to be small or big or whatever. And it's been really fun to be here with artists who work in other mediums and to, you know, hear, I mean, the parallels are endless. So that's been pretty cool. But so I knew that the song wanted more, wanted to say something more, and maybe move into kind of like a different mood, a different world. Now we're on like maybe day 4 or 5, maybe day 4 of working on this particular song. And like throughout the process, you know, I'm working on a bunch, you can see some notes up there. I'm working on, you know, a bunch of other ideas while this is happening. On another night, I was noodling on the acoustic. Again, people are around, low pressure. It feels like I'm just like doodling. Let's see. So, you know, I had to translate that key from standard tuning to what I'm working with here. And then got that drum beat coming back in. The synth arpeggiation is coming back. We're kind of tying things together. And then we have the little guitar part that's going to come back. Now, if I want to play this live, I need to figure out actually like how it would translate back onto the guitar, especially if I'm like playing a solo set, right? When I'm playing solo, I'm using, you know, I use my voice, I use loop pedal, lots of guitar effects and other like vocal effects, and I have a drum machine, and on the drum machine, I also like have synth parts programmed in there, so I would probably program in the arpeggiation. But like, say I want to do like a stripped down set, me and a guitar. Long story long, I tuned the guitar down a whole step. And then instead of just tuning the high string down a whole step, I brought it down even further because it just sounded better with the placement of my hands and the melody that I was trying to achieve. So then I had to put a capo on the first fret. Now we have the same thing that we have over here. I need to apologize, I will do no wrong. You know, I can write something and start with something that like I made, but actually maybe it isn't, it's like I love the sound of it, but then to translate it to like what feels good in my voice and in my hands, and then like what feels good if I have to do it all together. Like, these are all kind of like separate worlds. There's like the idea world, there's the recorded world, and then there's the live world. And so yeah, that is Kitchen, written here at Jentel. Thank you all so much. It's been a delight. It's going to be hard to leave. Thank you.